So this is a supplemental video to go with the order sets video on YouTube. In that video, I basically requested/required that you subscribe and copy a variety of standard order sets that default to the lab that we're using. Obviously, that's not an exhaustive list, and many of you may choose to make your own order sets for lots of different reasons. So this video is kind of an optional video for if you want to make your own order sets, how to do it. As I talked about in the just plain old order sets video, there's two types of order sets, those that are associated with a diagnosis and those that are just on their own. So I'm going to show you how to make both of them. Again, I really recommend you either have two computers up or have this playing while you have an Athena open so you can click through it while I go through it. So as usual, we're going to start out by clicking the little cogwheel button in Athena. Once you get there, you're going to click Order Sets. Once you get there, whereas before you searched for My Order Sets, you're going to click Add New so you can make your own. After you've clicked Add New, you're going to need to name your order set. Again, I always name mine King Dash whatever. You can name them whatever you want, but I recommend using the same start up of the phrase over and over again so you can search for them easily. So I'm going to do a celiac panel one. So I called this King Celiac. Once I type in the order set name, this whole section I'm going to leave blank because I'm going to show you in this part of the video how to create an order set without a diagnosis. We'll use this section when we add a diagnosis to it. So this is just a standard order set for a lab. So I'm going to click Lab. Once I do that, it gives me the option to search. I'm going to search for the celiac test, TTG. Once I've done that, I'm going to click what I want. After I've selected the test that I actually want, in order to expand it, I have to actually click the test itself, so I click here. Then I need to fill out two things. One, I need to make sure I select the proper lab to send to, and two, I need to click this Office button. So when I click search, you're going to search for Atlas, A-T-L-A-S. There'll be a star next to it. That's our lab that we use. After I've selected that, I'm going to make sure I click this little button so it says Office instead of External Lab. Once that's all done, here's what it should look like. The Send To now says Atlas Interface, and then Specimen Collection is selected as Office. I'll scroll down and then I'll click Add. And now it's saved. When I need to access this, I do so in my assessment and plan. I can add a diagnosis or click the plus sign for add diagnosis and orders. I start typing in what I called it, King-Celiac, and now I see that it pops up. So if I click that, the TTG with the Atlas Lab and Office button selected will populate, and all I need to do is drag that and drop it attached to whatever assessment or diagnosis I want to use. So now I'm going to show you how to make an order set attached to a diagnosis. Again, we've gone to the cogwheel, we've gone to order sets. This time we're going to, again, call it whatever you want. I think I did this one as King-Low Vitamin D. So I'm going to search this time in the diagnosis section because I need to pick what diagnosis I want this to go with. So I'm making a vitamin D deficiency one. And again, I would have typed up here whatever I wanted to call it, King-Vitamin D deficiency. So I search for that diagnosis. I select the diagnosis that I want, vitamin D deficiency. Now that I've done that, I scroll down, I can see that I've got my diagnosis, E56.9 for vitamin D deficiency. Now I want to attach to that diagnosis the vitamin D lab. So I'm going to click Lab. Then, as I did before, I'm going to search for the lab, and I'm looking for just the vitamin D25 total. So I select that. Once I select that, again, I have to click it in order to expand it. I need to make sure I send it to the Atlas Lab, and I need to make sure I click the Office button. Scroll down, click the Add button, and now this is one of my order sets. So if I were to use this in my note under the assessment and plan, if I click the little Add button, I can search for whatever I called it, King-Vitamin D deficiency or whatever, and then it'll populate not just the lab order for vitamin D serum, but it'll also add the assessment of vitamin D deficiency with that ICD-10 code, and attached to that will be the order for the actual lab test. If you have any questions, let me know.